Good morning, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues. Let me wholeheartedly welcome you and thank you very much for responding to our invitation. We are approaching the real paradigm shift, so to speak. So I hope this time, with the 17 goals, I hope that we will see something different.
The goals of the MDGs were very much modest by today's standards. But now, our colleagues in the UN system are challenging us. This time, it is not the donation of the North to the South. This time, it is not the North educating the South how to live a better life. This time is much more democratic, much more inclusive. We are talking about global goals for all of the members of this world. The gaps are huge, and no single source of funding can really be sufficient in order to achieve these goals or targets. It's not ideology anymore. It's flexibility, it's additionality, it's efficiency, it's innovation. It's basically about how to achieve the goals and targets within a specific time frame, 2015 to 2030, in all countries without exception. The main challenge that we're going to be seeing in the SDGs, that you need not just partnerships with the outside world. You need, this kind of partnership needs to start at home with excellent coordination that could be required at the national level, and sharing information and complementing each other's effort in order to achieve these goals.
When I addressed the UN General Assembly last November, I asked all member states to help ensure that the importance of science and technology is explicitly recognized as a central part of the post-2015 development agenda. Access to modern science and technology has huge potential to improve the health, well-being, and prosperity of the people of the world. Cancer in developing countries is a strong focus of IAEA activities. There are many countries where they don't have any cancer machine. That is a human tragedy, and we need to do more.
I'm very happy that new SDG will cover three dimensions of the goals, which is so important for all the least developing country to move up. Without economic growth as a fundamentals, it's hard to believe all the social sectors, all the environmental issues will be taken care of or will be sustainable.
One is the moral dilemma of eradicating poverty, another is the existential dilemma of the planet of dealing with the climate change. And what we are demonstrating is that it is possible. It is possible to achieve both simultaneously, but in today's globally opening world, it is not only possible, it is also, we don't have an option but to do it. Because if we do not address both the challenges simultaneously, we will not be able to get into an international agreement on any of the SDGs.
You will find no French diplomat wherever in the world, even when, like myself, there are no climate or no development specialists, that will be unwilling to engage on climate and development issues, to take questions, bring them back to Paris if need be, and try to come back with an answer.
Now we can speak with one voice to reach out to the general public. This is very important to get out of the development bubble and to communicate the importance of the strategies that we are working on for the citizens.
A lot of the implementation of the SDGs is going to depend on having better science, on having better data. We're having a major problem and obstacles with data throughout the world. All of these are areas where EASA is very much involved.
We have to do our homework. We have to have a look on, do we really implement all the SDGs in our own country? And that's a completely new approach, which is not yet communicated to everyone.
I know for my country, it took some time for us to eradicate some communicable diseases for children because they could not access those places as a result of terrorism. What do you think is going to be the effect of terrorism as far as that is concerned?
Those countries that probably will need the SDG benefits most are unlikely to raise adequate domestic, finances from domestic sources. Of course, domestic sources would be the most sustainable if it were possible to raise them.
The most important today is the tax on financial international transaction. And if we can manage to have this tax, and many developing countries are for it, we could raise tens of billions of dollars every year.
But we also, I think, need to look at and touch upon the responsibility of civil society and the private sector, even more than the civil society, in terms of achieving these goals.
The partnership indeed brings together stakeholders which look at development from different angles: donors, partner countries, the private sector, and civil society organizations. They all meet together and exchange views on how to enhance and make development effective, international development cooperation more effective.
These are 10 developmental institutions. Some of them are regional. We have the Islamic Development Bank. We have Arab Economic and Social Development Bank Fund. We have Arab Monetary Fund in Abu Dhabi, and we have the Arab African Development Bank in Khartoum, which is referred to as Badia. Then you add to this Saudi Fund, the bilateral, Saudi Fund, Kuwaiti Fund, Abu Dhabi Fund, Qatari Fund, and Ag Fund. Did I forget any? That's fine. These are the conduit, actually, Dr. Mohieldin, ladies and gentlemen, these are the conduit through which the aid of our market goes through. And these are the developmental institutions which are really giving importance. The last summit, economic summit held in Riyadh, by the way, decided to increase the capital of some of these actually by 50%. So it is really a political priority for the shareholders and the members of these institutions.
I wish this kind of partnership and that had been reflected in this good gathering today, and your good time and excellent questions and comments that reflected your serious consideration of the agenda going forward. And I hope to see you soon in DC or again in Vienna. Thank you so much.
Thank you.